Okay. Gotcha, Pearl. Oh. Fresh washed smock. Alright, this top is still feels a little moist. Weird. Hey, Bohemian. Indeed. We shall start crafting away like crazy. Only momentarily here. Just have some precursor things to do. Clean up the bowls. I wonder why that thing feels so... Probably because I put so many layers on it. That's probably why it feels vaguely damp. Feels solid though. It's only because the armature's there. I still have to do layers on the other side. Hey Ross, how's it going? Alright. New epoxy. New that stuff. Bigger, fatter X-Acto. Woo-ha! There we go. I did not stab myself to death with the bigger, fatter X-Acto on the very first night of having it. Great. Yeah, pretty much. Secret toys. New stuff. Glass cabochons. My new eyepieces for the skulls. As I'm sick and tired of trying to slice up ping pong balls and get them in there. So this will just be fine. If I want it white, then I'll paint the back with a thin layer of glue to make it more translucent than transparent. And that should be really nice. Any of these layers, yeah, that was getting a little wibbly wobbly. Apply, press, and set. Ooh, snazzy. Good. Getting sick of that running all over the place. I like that container. That's a pretty snazzy Loctite device there. All right, a little more epoxy. So we're running out. Now this bit won't be dancing all over the place. Once it fully sets. How long will it take to set? I didn't really check that out. Do not breathe vapors. Oh no. Well, it hasn't popped up yet, so we're just going to let the weight of the skull press that down. Okay. Hey, Rachel. This one will be a pumpkin. The spider will be this little guy. I want to test it out on something small first and see what we got. Which orb is printing downstairs? That is going to take the flip all ever. I got to fill up some water. Looks like our big boy is pretty dry. We got to do more witch wooden on the arms. And we got to clay the opposite side of the spine. And we've got to drop witch wood down onto the shoulder blades. So that's all in the menu for this evening. All right, I've got a lot more plastic bags up here than I had previously expected to have. All right, let me go fill these up, feed up the fur balls, and then we got to make a little paste and rock and roll. Oh, and this is the one of the 3D prints. It has a whole lot of reinforcement material in there that I need to try to remove. And that's one of the reasons I brought it up. I figured, actually, where's my small X-Acto? That is all. I figured that'd be a lot easier to remove here than elsewhere. But I could be wrong, because some of this stuff is very obstinate. Very, very obstinate. It's supposed to kind of break away. There we go. And this is support material. Hey, Tree Ghost. How we doing? However, it seems like some of this support material is very, very supportive. Hey, Miss Chang. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Hopefully we'll be getting to a lot more of it this evening. Well, that's all support material too. Damn. This program really went nuts with the support material. Well, earlier I was just staring at the damned I use using a program called Slicer to get my 3D prints in order, and the version of slicer that I was using was going very, very slow. It was driving me bananas. I must have wasted about an hour or two downstairs staring at Slicer as it churned away on the witch orb. And sadly, in the end, I ended up downloading another version of Slicer, setting it to work, and it did the whole damn thing in about 6 minutes. So much time was wasted today on terrible versions of Slicer. Otherwise, I'd have been up here working much earlier. Huh. I swore I had another pair of nippers around. Ugh. I want to cut away this support stuff. But damn, it doesn't want to go. It's supposed to be breakaway, but it's not breakaway. Yeah, things are getting there. Certainly getting there. Whoop. Oh, there comes the piece on the face. Damn. That thing really wanted support. On the upside, her face looks good. I just can't get down there to get to it. I can't remember which program I used for this one. I think this one was regular Slicer. In the future, I'm only going to use that Cura. Oh, yeah, no kidding. I would never stream that. That was awful. Awful and pointless. Nobody should have to watch somebody just screw on a Slicer at all. Whew. Yeah, it took a while. It took a bloody annoying long while. Ugh. I was looking into some units that are known as dual extruders for these things, which have they can put out a chemical. Well, they can put out PVA. Oh, of course, I broke it. And then you can dump your print in the water. All the PVA will dissolve, and you'll be left with just the stuff that you wanted. So, yeah. Hey, Melissa. All right, I'm going to stop kidding with this. That's going to be boring. Watching me try to pull tiny pieces of plastic off of a little plastic model. It's honestly just there as a test. All right, we'll fill these up. We're going to make some paste. There you go. Back in just a second. Hi, Madge. Madge, you're walking away. There you go. Good. Well, I probably should have checked. Oh, that works fine. get there to trip me. Fuzzy obstacle course. Alright. Yep. Alright. So let's just get to paste. There's the green bowl. Use this one. Let's sit this. I want this out of the way. Pardon. Oh. There we go. We'll start. Two-ish. Hey, Angel, how's it going? Oh, boy. Awesome. Oh, come on. Bought some more glue this morning. Stayed awake till 7 a.m. to get to Walmart to get that glue stick for my printer bed. Zipping through, so they had gallons of Elmer's white glue. And I was surprised that it was reasonably priced. Good. Nice. Oh, that glue stick was amazing. I was stoked. Threw a coat of it on, and bam, all my problems were over. I was so happy. Yeah, that stuff is surprisingly easy and effective. Nay, shockingly easy and effective. Absolutely shocking. Whoop. I keep really heavily overestimating the amount of flour I need. Well, kill the mic. Okay, there we go. Hey, Danielle, how's it going? Got paste. Got cold water. All right, put the cabochons away. A lot more acetone. Slips go there. I hope I have enough strips to do that thing. I forgot to tear up more. All right. Come here, big boy. All right. Always. Now the water's fine. Yeah, that was a lot of clay I threw onto him, so his neck is not dry yet. That's going to take a while, but that's okay. It's still incredibly stable, and the outermost layers are very much dry. So, let's get a little bit of clay behind them where possible, and we're going to get, obviously, the witchwood draped down and in there. Let's start off with going to get those stupid paintbrushes. Come on. She is determined to be a tripping hazard tonight. Awesome. Oh yeah, wire on the stems, especially if you got a big curvy weirdo one, is essential as far as I'm concerned. Let's spill out here. Okay. Let's get the area underneath. As safely saturated as we can. I think I'm gonna get under there too. Let's start with clay. Ah, good. I'm glad I put that extra dollop of paste in there last night. Oh. It's nice. I feel like I actually have a studio now. Attachment point there. Attachment point here. Doesn't need to be fancy. Nobody's going to see it or care about it. It's just there for structure. And I'm going to wedge a little bit up under the top rib. Woo. Sucker's going to be solid. Love it. Love it. Okay. Let's get some witchwood going. I need more cotton fluff. Hey, Joey. How's it going? Cotton fluff, cotton fluff. What are you doing, Fuzzy Puss? Oh, cotton fluff. Whoa! Camera quake. Oh. There. Fluff, 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 fluff. I need enough to do the arms too, so we can use a great big batch of witchwood with no worries. I'm so glad I got this stuff. Okay. I can sit over there. Let's grab some wiping. And away we go. Time to get messy. That might be a little too much. Yeah, that's a little too much. Give me a little more cotton. A little bit more. Okay. set. Okay. Come here, buddy. Boom. So now it's time to drape some witchwood down onto the ribs behind and give them just a little bit of a coating where we can. Still a little dry on that one. Well, you're ahead of me, Joey. I might need more paper strips before the night's done. My little bag is getting a little bit light. I like Goliath's way of thinking of it. I found more stuff. Good, you're a winner. That means you won. Okay, this does not have to be too heavy. It just needs to have some unevenness. Well, the main body is going to get a big blast of special walnut stain. And then the only parts that are going to have mad crazy color will be the head. And I might decide to throw a little bit of greenish vine stuff on him somewhere, but I'm not enthusiastic about that idea. So that's the general thought at the moment. But nothing's final. Everything can change. There's going to be a number of spots on him that I can't reach with any kind of stuff. Yeah, I like how that looks. I like it so much, I want more of it. Especially in this middle gap. I honestly don't know if I'm going to have him under a black light, so I don't know. I typically don't use neons on my my more woodsy looking critters. Yeah, it's really coming along. I am rather thrilled. The overall progress. How's that? It's not bad. I want a little more up here, and I want a little more over there. I'm also using some relatively large pieces of witchwood. Yes, what's going to happen there is, as soon as I can get that in there, you'll notice this central post right here in the center of the rib cage. There's going to be wraparound lights on this. So I'm going to wrap green all around that. And this will be his heart. And if it's too overt, then I will grab some milk jug plastic, make a, kind of toilet paper roll shaped piece. And then that's going to go around it to mute the lights and diffuse them a little bit. All right, we're getting there. Oh yeah, all my skeletons have green hearts in their chests. Every last one. I'm just going to leave that there because I like the way that goes. Adds a little bit of 3 dimensions to it. All right, that's fine. Let's see if I can kind of show off what's going on in there. So we got all that connection in the back with just a splash of big witchwood pieces, and now we'll do it on the opposite side. And we're gonna move a bunch of this stuff back to the rack. No, that's why I put the central support barrier in there. Is its whole purpose is to hold the light straight. Good girl. These can all go back. Hi, come here. Get some pets. Meow. Hi. Meow, meow, meow. You're cute. Yeah. Hi. You're all over the place, cat. Well, the other ones are already equipped with Velcro dual LEDs, and it's just, those are all mounted to the inside of the regular skeletons. So you just pull their hearts out, replace the double A's, Velcro them back on, bam, done. We got very sick of trying to get weird ass batteries a while ago. The CR32s, the big coin shaped batteries that look kind of like a nickel. Yeah, I've made the pledge that if I can't power it with a battery found in any store, I'm not using that battery. Ooh, almost forgot. Hold off. We sell LED lights. Great. What do I need for them? You need a QZ92 battery. Kiss up. I ain't using anything that's not some version of AA, AAA, or regular letter. It better be in the first couple letters of the alphabet. I ain't using it. There we go. And I would really love to transition to some of those batteries that you can plug into a computer or wall outlet, like the Samsung charger types, or even a USB. that scorched nicely. I'm just going to leave that there. All right, let's get some back coating. I need back coating for this one. That's a little bit too weird to drop stuff down into. There. Give me some texture is all. All right, this spot can use branching. It's fine. There's no need to super detail this. Nobody's going to be staring intently into the creature's ribs. Hey, there's a flat piece back there. This place is terrible. Ah. Yep. It'd just be nice to have batteries that we could just be like, oh, it's Halloween time. All right, it's 3 more days to Halloween. Charge the batteries. That way we know everything's charged. Not to buy too many year after year. Right, anything else special? That area where I said I wouldn't put a root, I'm going to put a root there. It's going to be a pain in the arse to stain, but so be it. If I have to, I'll just load stain into an airbrush and it's all over the place. Okay, that's not bad. Now let's mask the clay on the throat. At least the outer part. I might give that a little bit more time to dry. If I throw more wet stuff over it, it's going to take for flip all ever. But the parts were thin enough. The parts that were thin enough to be dry can get a coat. And actually, we can unify up with the witchwood running out of his mouth. Nice. Okay. Let's not go too crazy on that. Just get the drying. And now we can slap the rest of the lower spine with clay. All right, once again, let's make some more room. No idea how far down I'm going to take that. I probably ought to start bending the lowest part forward. I have no idea where the small heads are going. No clue at all. Do not know. I kind of think I'm going to have to see him mostly assembled, and then I can mount the small heads and say, all right, what if it's here? Yes, no, all right, what if it's here? Then we have another conundrum. If I keep the pipe straight, then I can take a piece of rebar and shove it in there and make him fully ground mounted. If I bend the pipe, then I will not be able to do that. And if that goes in there, oops, what's it gonna hit? Whoa, that piece of clay really came right off. Holy mackerel. I'm glad I found that out now. It's gonna hit the bottoms of the ribs. I'd probably have to wedge in a dowel piece for it to rest on. All right, where'd that piece that really just came apart? Damn. That really wasn't dry. Holy mackerel. Come here. Let's rip that whole chunk right out now. Get that repasted. Because if that's that dry, then every other piece in there is going to be crap. All right. Can that go back in? Yes, but good. Found a structural flaw. Excellent. Before it became serious. Well, yeah, but I wouldn't want them in the chest because that'll just obscure them from view. If you do work on a piece, you want it very, very visible. We'll slap a patch down there. How about up here? Let's grab another bit. Had a spot right here where it just ripped right out. So we're going to patch that up. This top piece is a little bit falling off too. Like I said, glad I found the problem before it became a serious problem. Good. All right, now we're going to give that some very hefty drying time. As that popped because it was definitively not dry. That means the rest of the neck is also very, very, very not dry. But at least the way back to the ribs is sufficiently gross. And no one will care if it is slightly weird. I'm tempted to leave this straight so I can just shove a piece of rebar up there. Gonna need to send a piece of wood about all the way up to there for it to rest on. But that way I can just jam them in a pole in the ground if I don't feel like hanging them from a scarecrow cross. All right, there we go. Now I just need a chunk of drying time. And the rest of the witch wood here can go onto the arms to make them look more woody. Up you go to the drying place, my friend. Get dry. Okay, need both arms. Oh. Hey, Sarah, how's it going? R1, R2. Oh, awesome. Because right now they're textured, but they're not hideously woodsy. They need a little bit more. It's just a tiny splash of water. There we go. Much better. Starting to get tacky. Okay. Now let's make this more woodsy. Hi, Madge. Hey, Wayne. Just doing a bit more work on the Sentinel. Just did the connecting stuff from his scapula to his ribs. And now I am gonna make these arms a lot more woodsy rather than just textured. Always happy, Sarah. Come here. Oh, this is a tough one. There we go. Yep, I am very happy with the arms. Very, very happy with the arms. They did great. Now we just need a little bit more angular running. With a few crossover points. Considering I have a mountain of cotton, I may as well use a bunch of it. Let's cross over here. Yes, they do take a long time sometimes. But yes, we do get the good juju from it all. Nothing less than very spooky. Otherwise, it's not worth it. Since this arm is mostly going to be seen from this angle, there's no need to really do a lot on the back, but we're going to make this side just a lot more plant-like. No prob. I think part of that is just, it sounds horrible to say it, but seeing some other folks' creations, and it's like, oh, I made this, and I look at it and like, that's really good, but you could have. And I understand perfectly well that people can absolutely do that to my creations as well, but that's where part of it comes from. You're damn right, Ancient Tree Ghost. Damn right. I got my friend in Oswego. I just can't really go see her because of this bloody quarantine. But yeah, that would be really nice. Local would be great too, but oh, come on now. Y'all get enough for me. I should be able to have a lady friend. Who knows? You might see me more often because I might not go into crazy depressive weirdo times like I sometimes do during the regular course of the year. Okay, let's boost that up. Okay, and let's take this over. Part of me is wondering if I ought to work on the fingers a little bit more. That's a lot more big branchy. It's all about the texture. Let's do one more here. Let's take it up and around. Careful, careful, careful. Okay. Now people will be seeing that, which has a little bit more 3D than just a section of PVC. I'm thinking I want to do a little bit more. Right up here. Yep. Drop some goop on the ground. String it out. Right. Okay, so now I'm going to see that from the arm. Good. Let's screw with the fingers just a tiny little bit. Yeah, really. You cannot add too little witchwood. Yeah, I got you, Sarah. Cool. Glad you're back. I'm not going to worry so much about the back of the hand because it's going to be infinitely less visible, but the front of the hand is worth a little bit more witchwood. Looks like I've got these little cotton dregs. Just going to use these up on the front of the hand. Okay. So now we've got this. And that's got a lot more texture. And again, not going to worry about the back, only going to worry about the most visible spots. Have not seen that. Oh, the skeleton needs a lady. Hey, look, skeleton's got to wait. First in order of precedence is me. Also considering this project is, since I moved out of the old place, in the making. All right, so this is going to be the front on this guy. Hand doesn't need too much work because the skull is going to go into it. Somehow. Ideally, the skull should be facing forward or the most visible angle. It's probably going to be looking like that. So we need a heavy amount more witch wood up here on the upper arm, a little bit here on this side spot to bulk it, and some pieces coming down the front. Let that go. Possibly some on the fronts of the fingers, but we'll see. Hey, did that glue set? Yes, it did. Nice. Oh, a couple water here. Excellent. All right, there's more cotton. Paste. How much do we need? Any extra I can throw on the skull. I used a fair bit on that other arm. So we'll start with that much. Give me a wiper piece here. There we go. A little bit more. I should 3D print some covers for these bowls. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Whew. I love working on my work. I'll need a huge amount more. That should do it. There we go. Just soak up that drag. So just want to feel a dry hand again for a moment here. Get these little crumblies off. Good stuff. Where's my headphones? Oh. Echo, play my music. Yes, well, to be honest with you, the reason for it is all mildly embarrassing. As I was packing up the house last June, obviously we had to pack up the shaving equipment. So into a bag went the razor and all the stuff. And I got to the new house and I was kind of just exhausted from it all. Consequently, it was one of those, all right, let's unpack the stuff. Want to get the razor out? I don't really need it. So the razor is still downstairs in a box with the other hair trimming accoutrement. I just honestly haven't gone for it. I've been exceedingly lazy. So, not proud of it, but that's the reason for the beardedness. Yeah, a touch feral. And the beard was kind of nice to have during the winter, so. Just went with it. The rough part here is going to be the inside, because if this is sitting down drying like that, then I only have a limited clearance in there unless I wait, which I could. Yeah, no kidding. It's a service beard. I have to have it with me when I take it into restaurants. Oh. I love the soundtrack for this film. I may have made up way too much, which would now throw it on the skull. There we go. We should bulk out this little 3D branch. Well, I'm more worried about the weight of the project mushing down on the clay. or I should say the witch would. You can just connect it to some upper parts. No problem, man. Had to help. Glad to help anybody with the pumpkining passion. Broken me into depression a few times too. You just get that. Just go craft something. Craft what? Anything! Alright. That limb is looking better. We need something in the upper shoulder section. I think I'm going to fortify that finger a bit. There we go. It's always nice to bring other folks to the pumpkineering. There we go. Awesome. There we go. There needs to be more on this side, but we can't do that now, unfortunately. Once again, a tiny splash of water on there. There we go. Alright, we can't do the inside of the hand so much because it's not really worth it. The skull will be there roughly. But it is worth it to do the front outside a bit more. And the claws. It feels a little loose though. Maybe I shouldn't worry about it. Oh wow, 50, damn. You have been busy. Awesome. That is a fantastic. Super great. That is great. You've been able to do that. I bet your house looks amazing at Halloween. Yeah, Anna's a machine. Awesome. Nah, we'll have Halloween this year. It'll be great. Might have a little bit of social distancing involved in it, but I think we'll have it. There, I feel better about the amount of stuff on that. I would say it is. I hadn't decided, Rachel. I might. I'm kind of thinking permanent, but realistically, removable will mean that I can change the batteries on it a lot easier. So that's probably the way I'm going to end up going. Just a bit easier. Okay. kind of reaching a limit of what we can do with this hand now. Because if I bulk it up too much, it will look way too different than the other hand. And that won't do at all. I think we'll get something on this thumb tip, and then that'll be it for this hand. That should be pretty good. Pumpkin on a stick plan, huh? I'll have to look that up. Okay, I think that is all that we can do with this hand. Because there's also not a lot of spots I can handle it anymore. Okay, let's put this back up in the drying space too. But I think that's a good upgrade from where it was. That'll do. Hi, Madge. What are you doing? Hello. Pussycat. What's up? Let me use the restroom, guys. Back in one moment. All right. Skull. Skull, then spider pumpkin. Don't have a lot for the skull. Skull doesn't need much more. The orb right now, as of Cura's slicing estimates, is going to take 2 days to print. Whether that's accurate or not, I have no clue. But that is the computer's current best estimate. I don't necessarily care for it. It's a little long for my liking, but it is a big print. Considering most prints are tiny little widget objects, this print is it's an orb. Let's go this way. I want this to go into the jaw. I'm just very glad I got the glue stick going. Without that, I'd be still sitting around cursing and fuming about how the thing was being such a massive pain in the tuchus. I'm printing a whole ball at the moment. I honestly do not know if this print will succeed because it is, again, a whole sphere, and I am not using any support on it, which I should. But when I calculated doing it with supports, then it came up as needing pretty much like a filament roll and a half to do all the supports to hold. And I figured I made the structure thick enough that at least for the start, I'm going to say screw it, let it start. If it takes 2 days to print, then I will definitely know by the halfway point if there are enough errors that I can just stop it and trash it and go back to the drawing board for the design. But yeah. That's the current status of the witch orb. I'm hoping when I go downstairs later on, I should see the first maybe 10% of it. Kind of like how all those are right now. Can add a little more to that side. Doing the back of this guy is going to be kind of pointless. Because, number one, I can use that as a spot to get in there and put stuff. And number two, it's going to be completely invisible. We can go down there without too much trouble. It is in that, but filament by comparison is not hugely expensive. and I consider it relatively cheap to be able to just pull crap out of my imagination, throw it into a computer program, and have it become reality. I am just going to super glue them to the inside of the eye once I cut it out. That's typically the best way to get stuff into the eyes of one of these guys. At the moment, I'm just trying to use up this extra witch wood. Yeah, no kidding, Patrick. Why are you going to spend all this money? School administrators never want to buy anything now. I've been asking for stuff for years. Budget's really tight right now. Not a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money. Our current, actually, one of the local high schools, Norwich High School, last year had to let a whole bunch of staff go because their budget was so bad. Let that continue drying. I gotta look up these things. Pumpkin on a stick. In a little bit. All right, so this is going to be our pumpkin spider prototype. This means that I need my Sharpie, which I could have sworn I had here earlier. There it is. So, if we do this thing real style, then the legs of a spider come out of the thorax, and now the abdomen is all gut, and obviously the head is spooky. I don't know. We certainly don't have to follow that pattern at all. Oh, this can just be a little mini pumpkin with spider legs coming out. I don't really want to do it that way, because what you've got then is a pumpkin coming up, and then the legs are up and over and down. It's kind of hanging down. It's low enough to the ground that if people see it at all, they're just going to see a spindly thing down there. It'll have lights on it. I'd rather have the legs lifting it up. So either legs from the sides or legs in an undercarriage coming out with the pumpkin on top, featuring more predominantly. At least in this little experimental one. Because this guy is just kind of a small scale proof of concept. The best pumpkin spider I've ever seen was done by a dark artist called Chad Savage. He made a beautiful rendition of a cool pumpkin, or I should say a spider with a pumpkin abdomen. That's awesome. And a few folks have made like 3 pumpkin spider where there's the abdomen, thorax, and head. But I am not making 3 pieces for this guy. I'm just considering how I would like to have it posed. Because we can do pumpkin face and then have like a spider body coming out the front. That wouldn't be too bad. Just put a lump of paper clay on here and do a little bit of micro sculpting, and then have your legs coming out the sides. The pain in the butt is there's 8 flipping legs. They can all be done in witchwood, much like the hands though, but I want to use smaller wire. Somewhere around here I've got some 14 gauge galvanized. That should be able to hold this up, particularly with reinforcements. So the question is the pumpkin the spider, or is it a spider with a pumpkin on it? And how do we make this scary? Because if at all possible, I'd like to have a pumpkin face on it. Because you can do pumpkin face up with a little spider head here. That's not hard. Kind of wondering where my ping pong balls are. Or we could just make this a just insane hybrid monster. We could make it kind of like a crawling pumpkin. Too many ideas. Too many ideas. How do we make it a thing of nightmare? Kid's gonna come up, see this thing, and it's gonna be terrible. Problem is changing the crossing over the border. Let's not overthink this. Let's just stop overthinking it right now. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm not going to make fewer than that. Okay. There's our eyes. And this thing's going to come out, and we're going to have some forward fangs. I'm thinking fang point, fang point. I should be able to make 2 tiny teeth there, hopefully. If I was really good, I'd do 2 tiny fangs coming up from the bottom as well. That would mean fang point, and fang point. Hmm. I don't know if I'm gonna have room for that. I'm thinking of making it in and of itself a spider with a pumpkin back, and then it's gonna go. Well, the problem is we've only got this one little thing here. I don't have a full 3-section spider. Don't have like a thorax behind that and an abdomen behind that to make the back a pumpkin head and then the middle whatever. I'm just using this one thing. So again, this is just a little experimental. So let's just kibitz with this and have some fun. We're going to put all the grooves in this like a pumpkin. We're going to have some fun with it. But there's our base. So let's start by claying it up. Don't need a lot of clay, it's just a mini pumpkin. And the fact that there's next to no layers on it shouldn't make a huge heap of difference. Just gotta remember that I need to have the clay dry. And we're gonna have to groove the clay in a pumpkin pattern. I've got a lot of little apertures, unfortunately. Tiny little eyes, tiny little eyes. Should be able to flex that in. Okay. Where's my groover? There it is. Just gotta remember, this is just an experiment. This is a small scale test. Fun piece. Ooh, that part is really weak. And sticking all right. How much space do I have? A fair bit. Hey, Ezzy, how we doing? Yeah, we're in the middle of a very extensive pumpkin monster build. And it being quarantine time, and me having a fair amount of extra time. Awesome. I've actually found I stopped using liquid starch in my recipe. Just the water flour glue seems to do it really, really well. But it's still got other uses. Oh, happy to help. Always, always. Already had a flat piece. Ah, gotcha. Yep, I can definitely see how liquid starch would be very useful in sewing, especially in making any kind of clothing. Tiny pinch. Oh, you're very welcome. I found a lot of folks get in with the mache pumpkin as the first. It's such a fun and easy project for anybody. I should do a video called like my first pumpkin project and do one of these little mini guys. Awesome, Tanya. Yeah, pumpkins are super fun. Fantastic. Happy to make lots of craft rooms covered in paper mache. Ah, that's good. I know a lot of folks around here are having a nightmare time trying to keep jobs with the corona, because there's a lot of people who just aren't quote unquote essential workers, and they're having hell trying to keep their families in good shape. Excellent. Hey, if they can't keep you on, there's no reason for you not to score that business. Make up the difference. It's all good. I already get paid back by YouTube. Every September or so, I get a little check for $100. And sometimes I get one in like August or June, depending. This clay is really dry. Clop and just get that in there. Is this good reviews or bad reviews? Oh, bad business. Gotcha. A masquerade costume, Redmond, Washington. Well, hey, companies that can't do well with their employees and whatnot, that's what happens. They go extinct. That's better. Tis the way of things. Ah. Can't say I have any experience with that myself. I'm guessing the other costume shops were much better. At some point, I got to start working on my new mask. But I got a 3D print 2 antlers for that. And possibly some sort of crowny circlet. Oh, yeah, nifty. I like the classic It. Blend, 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 blend. Oh, nice. A little far away for me to order from, but well, if you want to put a notice of that on my Facebook page, go for it. I will definitely approve that, just to get the word out. About time to groove this. I could always make another one, Essie. Unless, of course, you don't want to, which is fine. I know a couple of folks who don't like Facebook at all. All right, here is Pumpkin Spider prototype. Let's make sure that there you go. Yep. I like it for keeping in touch with a few old friends. There's my eyes. Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's about what I use, Tanya. Just making sure that when I go, hey, I went to the thing and did the stuff, people can see. Alright, there's some creases in it. Not too much, it's just a mini pumpkin after all. We're going to have some fun with his legs. I anticipate some witchwood, which will have a vine look to it. Easy there, buddy. He's not very grippy. Better put him down before I damage him. Yeah, it's all good. I must confess, I do not like clowns in my haunt. Yes, the whole reason I've got these two areas right here will be for a couple of mandibles to come out, and I got two on the bottom for a couple small ones to come up. I thought about making this guy a little, like pumpkin guy. There's somebody out there right now I've seen on Facebook who is doing a pumpkin man build where the pumpkin effectively has two arms and two legs growing out of it. I hadn't thought of that, Tanya, but that might not be a bad idea. I don't think I have quite enough room on this one. I'm probably going to do tiny teeth on there. In fact, I might do the fangs out and then cover them with witchwood and give them a weird paint job. We're going to see. We'll see. But this is the prototype starting place. And if anything, the weird bits for him will have to be deciding where the legs are going to come out and how it's all going to fit. So, got Jesse. I just don't find the clown thing very scary. I go to a haunt and people are, I'm a haunted clown. I'm just, okay, whatever. I do not find it scary at all. But that's just me. Some people have a great time with the haunted carnival thing. Getting carried away, picking off flaky bits. Okay, so experimental little guy is done. Let's put him up in a drying place. There, now he's out of the way. And I think the only thing left is the big thing. Getting some more layers on it. That's about it. Yep, I think that's the one I was thinking of, Tanya. Yep, and it was like 3 pumpkins together, I think. Pumpkin for the abdomen, pumpkin for the thorax, and tiny pumpkin for the head. Oh, wow. I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Unhinged does some really great stuff. All right, let me go grab the beach ball. Oof. There we go. Midge, you're still hanging out with me. That's awesome. Hi. Hey. Hi. Meow. Good girl. You're so cute. You're such a cutie. Meow. I know. I should make like a little cat cam. Too bad Logitech C920s are vastly overpriced right now. Oh. Oh, all right. I like his stuff a lot too. All right. Haunts that don't get along. What? Plague Doctor will, I think, be a hit this year. I think we will see quite a few of them roaming the streets Halloween night. I downloaded parts for a Plague Doctor mask for 3D print. Yeah. It's a good solid costume, honestly. Alright, so that's the top that I've done the hell out. Wait, what did I do yesterday? I did the bottom. I need to do the top today. Yeah. Bottom's got at least 4 layers on it. But I don't have a whole lot of strips left, so I am going to use up what I have, and then I'll probably end up having to go downstairs, watch a movie, and tear strips for hours and hours and hours. I should probably get more paper fluff for clay too. So clay supply and fluff, or rather strips. Strips and fluff. That'll be the order of the night after the broadcast is complete. Oh, nice. Patterns are fantastic. Part of me is actually wondering if there's an easier way to make liquid starch for whatever reason. Let's give this a quick spruce up. Probably ought to throw the blender parts in the... I forgot. There we go. If I need MSA, I will give you a shout. At the moment, I only have one costume modulation planned, and that's going to be my my Horned King modification to my current costume. Agreed. Yeah. Absolutely agreed. So much easier half the time and less expensive. Just slap it all down yourself. That's right. I like to use my smooth brush. There it is. Why do I do this? Yeah. We're going to get some antlers. One guy's got a pattern for actual Horned King horns. So I'm going to take a look at them and see if they are nearly identical to the Disney movie. I kind of want to make just a crown that has the horns on it. I'm probably going to do a couple 3D printed deer skull things. So, yeah. I have a suspicion that filament is going to start becoming a heavy expense of mine. We'll see. Hadn't even thought about that. That's right. This works a hell of a lot better if I throw a little weight in Oh, yeah. There's actually a few ones I've seen on that. There's the helmet of the Witch King is on Thingiverse. And I downloaded that one because I like the way it looks. There's a bunch of really good stuff on there, quite frankly. One guy has a Wendigo costume that's really slick. Though I know my buddy Don is not going to change his mask because he loves that thing, but I like having some stuff available for other things. And quite frankly, with the manufacturing capacity I have with the 3D printer, I'll be damned if I don't use it. Yeah, I had to go get glue sticks this morning. I'm just amazed at how well that stuff keeps things bonded to 3D printer beds. Make sure we overlap. Can't say I've ever built one of those. Oh, snap, crackle, pop. Oh, man, you know you've been macheting for a while and your back says you've been stooped for a bit. Take care, Tree Ghost. I can't say that's a job I wouldn't be interested in, Essie. I'm not sweat, Essie. I'd be doing it when come heck or high water anyway. I just get to do it online in this case and throw up instructional videos. Teaching is just what we do. Oh, thank you very much. I will put it to very good glue stick use. That's what I think most people get out of them, Tanya. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate it. I think it's always good to have craft friends. It can be very rough if you don't, or just nobody around is into that stuff. It's kind of one of the things that I use for this broadcast for me is that I've got people to chat with who are also interested in it. And if we all lived in the same town, I could easily all see us at somebody's house doing this in the same sort of way, crafting away. Yeah, just having people around similar interests. You can shoot the spit if you have a question. You can do it if somebody starts talking about a project. You can brainstorm on it with them. It's super nice. Gotcha. Yeah, that's where I used to be as well. In fact, I still am crafting alone, but when you're crafting and broadcasting, it doesn't feel like you're crafting alone. It feels like you're crafting with everybody else. And everybody's having a good time. Yeah, that's the great thing, Daniel. That's why I do it. Ah, British Columbia. Gotcha. Unless I am completely misinterpreting what you're saying. It's a place I'd like to see at some point. That's not too far a trip. I mean, it's a far trip, but still, it's a destination. Mm. I am in Norwich, New York, which is southern central New York State. It is rather far from anywhere, but not so far that it's inconvenient. There's a Walmart in town, and a Lowe's, and various other spots. Strips are getting a little big for this curvature. But go to some smaller ones. I always feel like craft rooms are only a problem if you're actually not finishing any projects. If your craft room accumulates a whole bunch of stuff that is mostly done, that's where it's highly problematic. Or, I'll get to that someday. Oh, I'm on the equator, I can use a big strip. Gotcha. Yeah, kiddos will have a way of halting many a craft project and or generating their own devastating cloud of clutter. Awesome. I've always wanted to get more into puppetry. Kind of like, Jim Henson style puppetry to make some haunt creations. For a while, I was mad about making one of the stalk around costumes where you throw up the big, almost like the full body cage, and you become a creature about twice human height. And I was constantly looking at Gore Galore's selection of stalk around costumes. Still think they're really cool, just no longer, oh my god, I gotta make one. Cool. I will have to take a look. I've got a couple things to look at tonight. Pumpkin on a Stick, and I can check out the Ventriloquist Sideshow. I'll check that out when I go downstairs to tear strips and watch movies. Fantastic. I actually just watched a little special on the was a puppeteering museum had a display of Dark Crystal, and they had a whole bunch of the original props. They had Jen, they had the Skeksis General. Really nifty. A couple of the animals from the scenes. It was nice just seeing. They've got one of the mystics there too. Happy to do so. Craft paint that won't wash off? Actually, I can imagine a bunch of the alcohol-based paints having that sort of issue where they just will stain and never come out. I still love stalker rounds, but right now I honestly don't think I'm in a physical condition where I could use one. Awesome. I'll confess I don't see myself going out that way anytime soon, but fate is weird. You never know. I may win some bizarre lottery. Anything that can jam its particulate of color into a substance will leave behind a stain. Even an acrylic that manages to really worm its way in there. Gotcha. I suppose I ought to do the top. Well, I've gotten over the top at least once. Don't want to do the top too much, otherwise it becomes the most heavily layered part of your pumpkin. Hey, Pearl. Welcome back. Interesting. They driving you crazy, Pearl? That bad? Take care, Essie. Thank you for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. And thank you for the chat. Oh, the drama community. Yeah, my lady friend in Oswego works with drama. It's funny how the drama community tends to attract, drama. Gotcha. Yeah, that'll do a number. Ah, okay. I did not know. To each their own. I have very little drama in my life. Too many things are just not worth getting all bunched up about. Too many things. I don't know. I think back to the school, and when we have a meeting talking about things like how we're going to handle the coronavirus, and some people just they go all to pieces. What are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Oh my God! Well, we need you to do this. Oh my God! You need me to do that? But how do you need me to do that? Just do it. Just be an adult. But that's just me. I suppose. I mean, I'm one of those personalities that if people say, do this, then okay, I do that, whatever. And I do it my way. I don't worry about how I do it. And if you come back to me later and say, you were not doing it the way I wanted to do it, okay, tell me how you want it done. I'll do it, no problem. Good one, Lynn. Very true, Sergeant. Very true. My father has a good story about that one. He went to law school at a place called New England School of, I don't know, it wasn't New England School of Law, but it was some school that was going to get accredited, and they were just on the cusp of getting accredited so their people could become board certified lawyers. And he was taking a class on contracts, and the person teaching the class was just a contract professor. They'd never actually worked in contracts or written any contracts. They just lectured about it, and my dad called him out on it. Like, how many contracts have you written? What contracts have you done? Like, I've never done one. I just teach the class. And then how the hell can you teach us about it? Yep, it's nuts. I've never seen Christopher Titus. Not familiar with what or whom it is. It's going to be a hell of a solid pumpkin. God damn. Yeah. I do know some folks who have been burned by old managers and old bosses, though, who have come down on their cases, just like floors them psychologically in any other job. I'll have to look that one up too. So I got the Costuming Company, Pumpkin on a Stick, Ventriloquist Sideshow, and Christopher Titus. I'll have to go back through the chat after the video is done and uploaded. For some reason, I'm thinking back to that one comic. Came up on Facebook a while ago. Like, people said, "Oh, I'm offended. Fine, be offended. Nothing happens." Ah, yes, and The Loop on Prime. Really looking forward to them coming out with another season of The Boys. Oh yeah, Foamy the Squirrel. I don't have to go any further up than that. That's good. Oof. Oh, standing up. Readjust. Sip of water. Well, these paper strips are lasting a hell of a lot longer than I thought they would. Nice. Yeah, I was at Aldi's a few days ago, and they weren't in bad shape. Though when I went to Walmart today, I couldn't get any alcohol. That was completely sold out. I'm sure I have a bunch in the house, but I didn't know where it was, so I thought I'd just grab some more. Night, Lynn. Take care. Hey, Danielle. How's it going? The skeleton is currently up and drying over there. We did a lot of work on the arms. That's not holding very well. Yeah, there. Did a lot of work on the arms. Got the shoulder blades fully attached. The neck is still not dry. Hey, lass, how's it going? Must be nice, Goliath. And we worked on the branch arms, making them more woodsy. All right, let's do some two-fisted adjustment on the camera. Oh, let's be careful. There we go. Yeah, that's the type I was going to get. Fourth of which last May. I have no idea if my school will be back in session at all this year. I heard, I think Virginia is no school for the rest of the year, apart from online stuff. Online stuff is very, very haphazard, though. I'll be curious to see what happens with us if we end up going back or not. I can't wait to see if my 3D print downstairs is gorped up by now or is still going strong. Well, one way or another, this is a living history event. Been through two of them now, the 9/11 and now this. At some point, I got to do some Zoom stuff myself. The school was setting up times to have every teacher on Zoom at least, I think, an hour a day or so for students to contact with issues. It's an easy way for them to make sure we're still doing our jobs. Because the administration is all panicky about, what if we get audited? What if we get audited? Oh my God. How do we prove that we were still educating? Ooh. If this print of mine can go through without supports, I'll be super happy, because that means I can get about 5 witch orbs per roll of filament. That means they cost about $4 each, and that is a price I am willing to pay. Plus, they'll be completely, absolutely, utterly waterproof. We're entirely on Zoom. Okay. Yeah, my little furball's still down there. Hi, Madge. Hey. Well, she's out like a light. Right now, they're trying to get us to complete a mountain of paperwork for how are you modifying your instructions for special needs. But I already modified all my stuff for special needs years ago, so it's already done. I'm effectively trying to teach a 9th grade biology class at a 3rd grade level. Which fortunately makes it eminently understandable all the way up through most grades. Yes, I have 2 furballs. One is named Samhain, the deliberate mispronunciation of Samhain, because I think Samhain sounds better, and Majesty. Yeah, Madge is definitely a huge fluff bear. Oh, jeez. We had one teacher that I heard rumor did that. He was a very interesting individual, and then he quote unquote retired, went out to somewhere, then came back, was rehired by our school. He had these quote unquote back issues, which were always causing him to be out. And then I heard that when he was brought back, he was coming in and getting drunk in school, and they had to make it so he was not allowed to be around students at all. And that just disgusts me. I hate paycheck teachers. But after 2 years ago, actually after last year was the bad year. I know how paycheck teachers are born. You beat the emotional tar out of them, and they will turn into paycheck teachers. Or Mario the cat. Nice. Oh, make no mistake, Tanya. This room is anything but clean. But yeah, when it comes to paper mache, I don't like drippy, sloppy blops going all over the place. And if I don't have to do it because I'm using a brush and a little bit of placement, then I won't. Plus, mache cleans up so damn easy anyway. Ah, see, that's the paintbrush's job. And I am covered in mache, but it's, it gets on and then it flakes right off. So it's a super dry little crusty bit covering. So it's really not that noticeable. Actually, I can thank Scott Stahl for this method. So I watched his videos after I heard people doing paper mache, because his was some of the first stuff I saw out there. And I was like, oh, paper mache, I hated doing that in first grade. It's all goopy, messy, sloppy. He's like, yep, you just lay it on, it sticks right to it, and then you paint it over it, and it's on. So you mean it's all on a paintbrush? I have to get myself covered in slop? Wow, I'm in. I've tried that, Danielle, because I actually saw him do a thing where like he touches the thing, slaps it on with the brush, and then he's on it. And I just don't. Yeah, like I've got two pieces stuck here because the tear wasn't perfect. But yeah, when Scott does it, it's all with the brush. It never touches his hands. And you certainly can. In fact, I may as well practice here a little bit. Some of these strips just want to stick together now. Yeah, but if I practiced enough, I could get good at it. Yeah, like these just don't want to grab instantly. See, it doesn't work. I think if you separate them well enough, though. Like I said, may as well practice. How else are you going to get better if you don't practice? There, Shazam can do it. Hey, Lucia. Buongiorno. flour on the edges of that. So we are practicing the Scott Stall technique and dropping pieces of paper on the floor because of it. Night, Tanya. Thanks for hanging out with us. And take care, Gladys. Thank you also for hanging out. I have no idea how far into this I am. Okay, no. That's the third strip I've lost. Nope. Let's go back to the Wilson method. Just as clean, twice as fast. Take care, Danielle. Thanks for hanging out. I have no idea how many layers I've thrown out. God damn it. Jeebus. No idea at all. I think it's been about 3. That means the top is probably 6 layered. The bottom is 4 layered. I'm probably going to start claying next time I screw around with this thing, or I'm going to throw the face on. I'm going to treat him like he's going to become the next Pumpkin Sentinel. Take care, Danielle. I figured it was morning over there, Lucia. Oh, you guys have got to be similar to Britain, about 5 hours ahead. It's got to be about 7:20 in the morning over there right now. Right on, yes. Oh, nifty. I didn't know Bruce Lee was buried there. Man had some very cool ideas about martial arts. Quadrado. Yes. I heard there weren't a lot of instructors about it, though. The way of the intercepting fist. Oh, hey, we're almost down to no strips. Ooh, too much to tear. I guess I got down that far. And I've got good overlap between the layers. And also these layers are actually pretty darn flat. That's one thing I love when you start carving a pumpkin open, And inside, everything is that nice, hard, rigid, super tight. This conversation could go horribly. Layers of paper. Oh, wow. Yeah, I know he worked with Chuck Norris and Steve McQueen. Yep, hell of an athlete. Yes, this is the Pumpkinhead. And the biggest project of late has been the Pumpkin Sentinel, which is currently finished, well, starting its drying debut. And I may actually set it up on the desk. With the state of the way that thing's neck was, I'm not sure that being up on the racks there is a good enough drying place. So I think when I'm ready to shut down, I will haul all the pieces down, put them right here, and have the fan blasting all directly onto them, rather than having the fan move around to try to get up. Should get a much better dry. Interesting. I would honestly never even think to do this with any kind of colors to it. That would be nifty if you could do a mache project in like all orange construction paper. You'd never even have to worry about the outer covering that much. Depending on how you did it. No problem, Joe. True. Yeah, the vertical horizontal cross link is definitely one of the easiest ways to get it. I just felt like layering this way tonight. I've got some vertical strips hiding in here somewhere. But really the job is to use the last of the strips. You can never go wrong by having tons of layers. Considering this is probably what gives the piece some of its greatest strength, is the tightly bonded paper. Yeah, could definitely do that. Slap one down, then every time you come around, you know. You could give yourself like 6 colored strips. And as soon as you run out as you go around, then you know you've got 6 layers on. I hope this will be a pumpkin jack. Could be pretty slick. The strips, I like to have at least 6 layers, minimum 4, and then you can move on to clay. But you got to have enough in there so that if you pull the form out of the center and start putting clay on, the thing doesn't collapse on you. That's always one of the biggest problems. Of course, with the beach ball, you don't have to worry about that because the beach ball doesn't have to be removed at all. You get continual bolstering I couldn't draw a dot on that because it would be the writing on wet stuff. So, yes. In fact, Lucia, have you seen the big project? I've never had good luck with molds, to be honest. Oh yeah, you could do that. I never really worry about it that much, honestly. Like I said, between 4 to 6 layers and you're fine. It's kind of like how I don't measure my paste or clay anymore. I just mix it. Do it all by general feel. All right, give me a second, Lucia. I will bring that down. Give me a chance to stand up and stretch anyway. As soon as I finish this handful, I'll bring the big boy down. There we go. All right, let's grab the big boy. Madge, hi. Make sure I don't step on you, cat. There, I gotta move that arm. For breath, hi. Meow. 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 Little girl, hi. Oh, oh, you're cute. Yeah, cutie bear. There. Let's move that. Let's move these. Generate a little more space. Put this arm down here. Carefully to dry. Pardon. There we go. All right. I love her too. She's a good fur ball. There's the big boy. Whoa. Whew. There he is, Lucia. I honestly would love to have reliable molds of certain pumpkin heads. That would be extremely nice. However, it just doesn't ever seem to be worth all the craziness. The problems, the bubbles, the little bits. Yep, he's working out pretty well. Yep, this is the much more assembled bit. And he's got all of his rib cage, which would, but this will be staring up, or I should say, staring down at the trick-or-treaters. Ugh. Come here. This Halloween. And his arms will be attached at that point too, so. But yeah, those ribs are definitely doing their job 100%. I'm glad I did the cross-linking in here. And it turns out I really didn't even need the string that I put on it. I could have just draped it without a problem. It holds up a lot better than I'd have thought it would. But yeah. All right, let me put him back up in his spot. carefully. There we go. Where's my fur ball? I think she's under the table. Yeah, that came out pretty well. I'm very, very happy with it. Hi, Madge. Hey, Madge, you want to be famous? Hi. Let's see if I can trick you. Come here. Come here. Come on. Oh, I gotcha. I gotcha. Come on up. Wow. Hi. Hi, sweetie. Hide. Hide. Don't hide behind the pumpkin. Come on. I'd want something much more resilient than plaster for this. Hi, Fuzzy Bear. Casting certainly would increase the overall production, and I could get a lot of duplicate parts. Some of the problem, though, is just that getting the parts made, if I had too much duplicate, my yard's not big enough. Let me put it this way. It'd be useful, but people might start looking around, noticing that lots of stuff was made of the same recurring parts. That's not a huge problem, but it's interesting. Like rock cement, the problem with that is the parts would be so damn heavy. It would be horrible. I'd much rather use like a silicone or something that hardens to a plastic. Resin would be perfect. Resin would be awesome. Hey, Fuzzface. What are you doing? Oh, hi. How are you? Good girl. What? She doesn't normally go up there at all. She's honestly too fat to jump it. Yep. And the only problem with resin tends to be the cost, because some of the AB resins, they're wonderful, wonderful stuff. But yeah, they're wonderful stuff, but they are pricey. Hi. What are you doing? What are you doing? If you want to get down, you got to come back over here. I'll lift you down. She is probably the more affectionate of my two fur balls. Samhain is in infinitely better physical shape. He's a lot leaner, but Madge is the one that will actually tolerate me petting her for a little while at night. Yeah, absolutely can. You could back it with almost you could even have like a carbon fiber mesh backed on a layer of resin. This gives you lots of options. Again, it's cost, and I've never really had much formal training in any way, shape, or form on how to mold things. Madge, I am amazed that you're staying up here this long. You might start getting used to it and start jumping up here. That would be crazy. Now, when I'm thinking cement, I'm thinking like the stonework cement. Are you going there as well? Because rock, unfortunately, has terrible tensile strength. Or are we talking more like a silicon rubber cement? Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely consider a silicon rubber cement type thing. But actual cement, the only thing I might do actual cement for would be tombstones, but I really like my foam. Can't beat foam for tombstones as far as I'm concerned. It's just too easy and cheap. Hey, you are staying right there, cat. Hi. We gotta get you some treats for this later on. Matisse. I've heard of Matisse before. All right, drywall compound. Okay, I'm with you there. I'm actually wondering if you could make a version of Monster Mud. Well, it wouldn't cure over time because Monster Mud needs to dry, and it wouldn't dry through a mold. Because that's just latex paint and drywall joint compound. You'd need something that would cure. Cats rule the internet. As soon as I throw Madge on the show here, it's not me anymore. It's all about her. Right, Fuzzy Bear? I also think she's just liking being up here and checking it out. Because she doesn't, again, usually hop up here by herself. Hi. You want to come down for a ball? Come on. Or are you still checking things out? Yeah. You look like you're checking things out. Here you go. You hop down? No, you want to knock the headphone wire off. Oh, no problem, Lucia. I understand. I gotta look into subtitles. We don't need cat cam anymore. There we go. I'm really glad I grabbed this camera widget. That is so much better. Has she? Are they pretty much waterproof? With that in there, Les? Because I'm always looking for waterproofing methodologies. Set some. No problem. I remember watching her one of her waterproofing videos a while ago. She still got the best recipe for like sculpting paper clay with the dissolved toilet paper stuff. As far as I know, yeah, you can add color to silicone. Yeah, with enough practice, it is. That's what I always tell my students. I'm like, how do you do that so fast? Well, number one, I'm not talking to other people while I'm working. I'm just working. And I'm putting all my focus on it. And number two, I've been doing it for quite a while. Consequently, I'm pretty fast. Maybe not fast, but I'm very smooth. Well, that thing's got to have 6 layers on the top. No way around it. That thing is layered up. All right. So I will tip this thing forward until it's on its edge. I'm going to grab my paper clay out from under it now. Because with all that paper used up, I am now out of stuff to do. That'll go there. I'm going to set this all up for drying. Just get some paste on the rim so the plastic sticks better. Alright. That's that bowl. There should be another blue bowl somewhere, but I don't see it. Alright, this will come here. About time to get this thing cleaned down, too. Let's bring the big boy down. His neck is the most critical drying part. Guess we'll throw that in there. Back we go. Then the arms have been drying really well without any additional issues, so I think I'm just going to let them air dry with nothing special. All right. Then, next time, what do we have? Hopefully the neck will be dry, so we can witch wood that. The skull is pretty much done, so we can crack the back of it and mount a couple of cabochons in the eyes and test the lighting on that. That thing is done, so we can draw a face on it and start thinking about the next pumpkin sentinel and whether or not I want to make that one a tutorial or not. The arms have got a couple of spaces that need some more witch wooding, and with that dry, we'll be in good shape. Okay. I am hoping so, Bohemian. I really am. If this 3D print of mine actually does take 2 days, then I certainly won't have any 3D printing crabola to mess around with. So that will make that considerably easier. Actually wondering if those cabochons can be used in the little pumpkin spider guy too. Because spiders have them shiny eyes. Yeah. At some point, very soon, we can start to stain the skull, because that doesn't require anything special. Then maybe, if I feel insane, I will start to layer up the frickin' beach ball of monstrous proportions. But that will always be the last thing I do in an evening, because that thing will have to sit right here. As soon as the arms are done for him, then we just deal with the spine. Pin drill the arm spots, and then we start painting. We're going to stain the whole set there. Yeah. Oh, and then we got to decide if we want to put any of the little guys in here. Well, you can't go there, unfortunately, because I'll have no room to paint, and I'll go insane. Or he will, and I'll go insane anyway. Yeah, we'll have to see about the little guys. Yeah, well, and that's more stuff that we can do. But otherwise, though, everything is laid out It has been a phenomenal, wonderful, incredible evening with you all. I very, very, very much appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me, chat, yak with each other too, toss ideas around. I have a whole bunch of things to look up for this evening. Tons and tons of stuff to look up. Alright, but tonight, this has got to go get some water. Water. I want to put this. These in water. These in water. And this in water. Righto, Bohemian. Take care. I'm going to leave this going for a few minutes here so Lass can continue to help Lucia without fear that the whole thing is going to go into shutdown. Take care, Joy. I suppose I should probably unplug the mixer. There we go. And then we'll go feed the fur ball. Wonderful. Take care, Sergeant. Have a good one. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to tear up paper strips for an hour or so. Did you find that okay, Lucia? I want to make sure you're good before I kill the stream. Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Lass. Appreciate you helping her out. Cool. All right. Looks like you're in good shape. Good stuff. Awesome stuff, guys. Thanks very much. Take care and have a wonderful evening. We'll see you hopefully tomorrow. Okay, good. Hi, Madge. Well, you hungry, kitty cat? Meow. Oh, good girl. Hi, sweetie. Or you could go that way. All right. Let's get you some food, huh? Food time? Food time. Yes. All right.